The space station called Orbital Market 9 was never quiet, not even at night. But today, something felt different. The long metal halls were empty, the shops were closed, and the cold blue lights flickered like they were nervous. A soft hum from old machines echoed in the air, but everything else felt too silent. Ethan Cole, a traveler from Earth, walked alone through the wide hallway. He carried a small bag on his shoulder and looked tired after a long day of work. Normally, he liked the station's late-night calm. It felt peaceful. Safe. But today, his steps felt louder, heavier, almost like someone or something was listening. Ethan stopped for a moment and looked around. No one. He shook his head. Just tired, he muttered and started walking again. He had taken only a few steps when a soft voice whispered behind him. A voice so close, so sudden, that every hair on his neck stood up. Please, just pretend you know me. Ethan spun around, his heart jolting inside his chest. Behind him stood a girl. Not human. Not even close. Her skin glowed a soft blue, like moonlight over water. Her hair looked like silver threads, shining even in the dim light. And her eyes, large, bright, and filled with fear, locked onto his like he was her last hope. She stepped closer, trembling. Her voice shook. Please, act like you are with me. Ethan opened his mouth to speak, but no words came out. He had seen many alien species in the past 2 years, but he had never seen one like her. Everything about her looked delicate and strange, and terrified. What's wrong? Ethan whispered. But she didn't answer. Instead, she reached out and grabbed his arm with both hands, holding him as if she feared she might fall if she let go. Her body was shaking. Around them, a few creatures in dark clothes watched quietly from the shadows, faces unreadable, eyes sharp. Others moved away quickly as if they didn't want trouble. Ethan felt a cold chill crawl through his spine. Something was happening. Something dangerous. The girl pressed even closer and whispered, barely audible. If you don't help me, they will take me. Ethan's heartbeat grew louder. Take her? Why? Who were they? Before he could ask, heavy footsteps echoed from the far corridor. Metal boots hitting the floor. Slow. Strong. Searching for something. Searching for someone. The girl's fingers tightened painfully around his arm. Her eyes widened with fear. Ethan glanced toward the sound. A tall shadow appeared, then the full shape of an armored alien guard. His armor was heavy and black, with red lights pulsing along the chest plate. He carried a long staff that crackled with electric energy. He was not a simple guard. He looked like someone trained to hunt. The girl whispered shakily. Please, pretend you are my husband. Ethan blinked. Husband, he whispered back. She nodded violently, eyes begging him to understand. Ethan didn't know her. He had no idea what danger she was in. She could be lying. She could be a criminal. She could be anything. But the fear in her eyes was real. Too real. The guard approached them slowly. His glowing visor scanned the area. Ethan felt the air around him grow heavier, as if the station itself held its breath. The guard stopped just a few steps away and looked directly at Ethan. His voice was deep and metallic. Human. Have you seen a blue-skinned girl pass through here? Ethan froze. The girl gripped his arm harder. Her breath trembled against his sleeve. Ethan felt two choices in front of him. Tell the truth and step away. Or lie and protect a girl he didn't know. He took a slow breath. His voice came out steady, even though his heart was racing. No. I haven't seen anyone. The guard stared at him, scanning his face, scanning his body, scanning the girl who hid half behind him. Ethan felt his muscles tense. He forced his expression to stay calm. For 3 long seconds, the guard didn't move. Did he believe the lie? Could he see the fear in the girl's eyes? Finally, the guard shifted his attention away. He grunted. Then he walked past them, boots clanging on the metal floor. Ethan didn't breathe until the sound of footsteps faded. The girl let go of him slowly, her hands still shaking. She stepped back but not too far, like she was still unsure if she was safe. "Thank you," she whispered. "You saved me." Ethan sighed. "You want to tell me what's going on?" he asked softly. The girl looked around again, fear still in her eyes. "My name is Lyra," she said. "And I don't have much time." His confusion grew stronger. "Time for what?" Lyra swallowed hard, her silver hair falling around her face. "For them to find me again." She looked into his eyes with a strange mix of hope and sorrow. "But they will not stop now," she said. "Not after they saw you with me." Ethan felt his stomach twist. "What do you mean?" Lyra took a step closer, her voice soft but serious. "You lied for me. You protected me. Now they will think you are my partner." Ethan's breath caught. Lyra's voice trembled again. "That means, they will hunt you too." Before Ethan could respond, the station lights above them suddenly flashed red. An alarm rang through the halls, loud and sharp. A robotic voice filled the station. "Security alert. Runaway royal detected. All gates locked." Ethan stared at Lyra, stunned. "Royal?" Lyra whispered, tears in her eyes. "Please, don't leave me now." And the screen would fade black. The red alarms kept ringing through Orbital Market 9, echoing through every metal wall like a warning heartbeat. The long hall where Ethan and Lyra stood was now covered in flashing crimson light. It made Lyra's blue skin glow brighter, almost like she was lit from the inside. Ethan's chest tightened with confusion and fear. A runaway royal? And now, they thought he was helping her? Lyra pulled his sleeve gently. "We must move," she whispered. "If we stay here, they will trap us." Ethan nodded even though nothing made sense yet. They ran together down a narrow service hall where the lights were dim and the air smelled like old wires and dust. "Lyra," Ethan said, breathless, "you need to tell me the truth now. Who are you? Why are they hunting you?" She didn't answer immediately. Instead, she kept running, her bare feet almost silent on the floor. She moved with a strange kind of grace, like she was used to escaping. Finally, when they reached a locked maintenance door, she stopped. With a quick motion, she placed her glowing palm on the metal panel. The light sparked once, then the door slid open. Ethan stared. "You can hack doors with your hand?" Lyra shook her head. "Not hack. Sense. I can feel energy. Machines. Life. That's why they want me." For the first time, Ethan saw her eyes clearly, not just scared, but tired. Like she had been running for a long, long time. Inside the maintenance tunnel, the sound changed. No alarms. No footsteps. Only the steady hum of pipes and engines running behind the walls. They walked deeper until Lyra finally spoke. "My people are called the Lasari," she said softly. "We are born with energy sense. Some can feel the movement of power, some can heal it, and some, like me, can control it." Ethan slowed his steps. "That sounds dangerous." "It is," she whispered. "That is why the warlord wants me. If he marries me, he will own my power. And use it to start a war." Ethan rubbed his forehead. "So you're running away from a forced marriage?" Lyra looked down at her hands. Her glowing fingers trembled. "It was never a choice," she said. "If I refused, they would lock me in a power chamber and force my ability out of me. My family agreed to the marriage because they were afraid. They said it would save our world." Her voice shook. "But I don't want to be a weapon." For a moment, Ethan didn't say anything. He just looked at her, really looked at her. She wasn't just scared, she was broken. She was running for her life, but also running from a fate worse than death. Ethan sighed. "You should have told me earlier." Lyra gave a small, sad smile. "You would have walked away. He didn't deny it. Maybe he would have. But now, after all he had seen, could he still leave her? Before he could answer, a sudden metallic bang echoed down the tunnel. Ethan's head snapped around. Footsteps. Multiple. Fast. Lyra's eyes went wide. They found us. Ethan grabbed her hand. Come on. They ran through the long tunnel, turning corners blindly. The walls shook as something heavy slammed into the metal behind them. Ethan, Lyra whispered urgently, the warlord's hunters, they don't stop. They don't rest. They don't think. That makes two of us, Ethan muttered. As they reached another door, Lyra pressed her palm to the panel. But this time, nothing happened. She tried again. Still nothing. Her eyes widened. They blocked the energy flow. They are learning my patterns. Ethan felt a cold knot in his stomach. Heavy footsteps drew closer. Voices echoed deep, sharp, metallic. Lyra's breath caught. Ethan. I can't open it. Ethan looked around desperately. The hall was long and empty. No hiding place. No other exit. He saw a small vent above them, barely big enough. Can you fit through that? He asked. Lyra nodded quickly. Ethan cupped his hands and helped her climb. She slipped inside the vent, her glowing skin lighting the dark space. Before she crawled away, she reached down and touched Ethan's shoulder. Come with me, she whispered. I'm too big, he said. Go. I'll try to hold them off. Her voice cracked. No. If they take you, they will force you to tell them everything. The footsteps grew louder. Closer. Ethan smiled lightly. Then you'd better escape fast. Lyra stared at him, her silver eyes full of something he couldn't understand, fear, hope, sadness. Please, she said again, don't leave me. Ethan didn't get to answer. A giant crash shook the hall as the hunters finally broke through the sealed door behind them. Four armored figures stormed into view, their red visors glowing like fire. Ethan's heart hammered. Lyra panicked and tried to pull him into the vent, but it was impossible. Ethan pushed her hands away gently. Go, he said firmly. I'll find another way. She hesitated. 1 second. 2 seconds. Then she did something unexpected. She leaned down and pressed her forehead to Ethan's. A Lasari gesture of trust. I will come back for you, she whispered. Then she disappeared into the dark vent. Ethan turned just as the hunters marched toward him. Energy staffs crackled, and metal armor hissed as they moved. He raised his hands slowly, sweat running down his neck. One of the hunters spoke in a mechanical voice. Human. You're linked to the fugitive royal. Surrender for questioning. Ethan forced a calm breath. I don't know anything. The hunter stepped closer. That is not what our scans say. Before Ethan could react, a beam of blue energy shot from the hunter's staff and wrapped around Ethan like glowing chains. His body stiffened as he was pulled forward. Bring him to the warlord, the lead hunter said. The girl will come for him. Ethan's eyes widened. That was their plan all along. They didn't just want Lyra. They wanted to use him to get to her. As the hunters dragged him away, Ethan whispered under his breath. Lyra, don't come back. But he knew she would. She had promised. Ethan's feet dragged across the cold metal floor as the hunters pulled him through a long corridor. The glowing blue chains around his arms tightened every time he tried to resist. His thoughts raced, but one fear sat heavy in his chest. Lyra will come back for him. And if she did, she would walk straight into the warlord's hands. The hunter stopped in front of a giant door, twice the height of a normal one, carved with strange symbols and lit by deep red light. The air around it felt hot, like a furnace breathing softly. The lead hunter raised his staff. The door slid open. Inside stood a chamber so large it could fit a small shuttle. Flames burned silently inside glass tubes. Strange machines hummed like angry animals. And in the center stood a tall, armored figure with horns of black crystal growing from his helmet. The warlord. Ethan felt the temperature rise the moment the warlord turned toward him. His armor glowed with red cracks, like magma hidden under metal. "Bring him forward," the warlord commanded in a deep voice. The hunters pushed Ethan until he was standing just a few steps from the warlord. Ethan forced himself to look up, even though every instinct told him not to. The warlord studied him with cold, glowing eyes. "This human," he said slowly, "interfered with royal capture." Ethan clenched his jaw. "I didn't know she was a royal." "But you protected her," the warlord replied. "And she trusted you. That makes you valuable." Ethan's stomach twisted. "What do you want from me?" The warlord stepped closer, towering above him. "She will come for you. And when she does, I will take her power. The galaxy will obey me." He paused. "And you will watch." Ethan shook his head. "She won't come. She's too smart." The warlord chuckled, a sound that felt like breaking bones. "You do not understand the Lissari bond, human. When she touched her head to yours, she marked you. You are her chosen. She will cross fire to save you." Ethan's breath caught. So that moment, the soft touch, the silent promise, it wasn't just kindness. It was a connection. A bond. The warlord lifted his hand, and the chains around Ethan tightened painfully. Ethan fell to one knee. "You will call her," the warlord ordered. "I won't," Ethan hissed. "You will," the warlord repeated. Before he could speak again, an explosion rocked the chamber. The machines shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. Flames flickered wildly. The warlord turned sharply. A second explosion followed, this time at the main door. The hunters rushed to block the entrance, staffs raised. Ethan's heart jumped. He didn't need to see. He already knew. Lyra was here. The door burst open, metal flying like shrapnel. A bright blue light filled the chamber, warm, powerful, alive. Ethan shielded his eyes. When the light faded, Lyra stood in the doorway. Her silver hair floated around her as if touched by invisible wind. Her skin glowed brighter than ever. And her eyes, they weren't afraid anymore. They were fierce. "Let him go," she said. The warlord laughed, stepping between Lyra and Ethan. "So the little royal returns." Lyra walked forward boldly. "I won't let you hurt him." "You cannot stop me," the warlord growled. "You are alone. And your power belongs to me." Lyra shook her head softly. "No. My power is mine. Always." The warlord raised his hand, and a wave of red energy shot toward her. Lyra lifted her palm gently, as if calming a child, and the energy dissolved into glowing dust. The chamber fell silent. Ethan stared in disbelief. He had never seen power like that. The warlord roared and charged at her. Lyra moved like water, smooth, fast, natural. She dodged each strike, her feet barely touching the ground. Every time the warlord swung, she redirected the energy with soft touches, turning his power against him. But the warlord was strong. Too strong. His final blow sent Lyra crashing into a wall. She gasped, her glowing light flickering. "Lyra!" Ethan shouted. The warlord grabbed Ethan by the front of his shirt and lifted him effortlessly. "Come to me," the warlord demanded. "Or he dies now." Lyra struggled to stand. Her body shook with pain. But her eyes locked onto Ethan's, full of determination. "No," she whispered. "You will not take anyone else from me." Her entire body began to glow brighter, sharper, more intense than before. The air vibrated. The machines in the room flickered. Even the warlord stepped back in surprise. "Stop," he commanded. But Lyra didn't stop. A wave of blue energy exploded from her, filling the room like a rising sun. Ethan felt warmth wash through him, like standing in the center of a calm ocean. The hunters were thrown back. The machines short-circuited. The warlord stumbled, his armor cracking as blue light spread through every red line in the metal. Lyra whispered one final word. Enough. The warlord's armor shattered into pieces, falling like broken stone. The glowing cracks on his body faded. His weapon dimmed. His strength collapsed. He fell to his knees, defeated. Lyra's glow faded slowly. She wobbled, exhausted. Ethan broke free from the weakened chains and rushed to catch her before she fell. She leaned into him, breathing hard. "You came back," Ethan whispered. Lyra gave a tired smile. "I promised." The station alarms went silent for the first time. The hunters powered down, their systems failing without the warlord's command. Ethan held Lyra gently. "What now?" he asked softly. Lyra looked up at him, her eyes full of hope and fear. "That depends," she said. "Will you stay with me?" Ethan didn't need to think. He nodded. "Always." Lyra rested her head against his chest, this time not out of fear, but trust. Outside the broken chamber, a new quiet fell over the station. A story that began with a frightened whisper. "Please, just pretend you know me," had become a bond strong enough to change a destiny.